classic films, Rosemary's Baby, Chinatown,
Repulsion,
and he recently, while he was not admitted into the United States for being for threat of being arrested, because of a crime that he did
wasn't
a long
that they
time
barred
ago.
him? They were like, "Yeah, come on in."
Yeah,
bro.
they were like,
they're waiting to arrest his ass from something that happened in the 70s. So.
yeah. I mean, I think the U.S. government put like a $5 bill on a string and tried to like fish that shit, like reel it in, have him chase it so he could like cross the border over here in America and arrest his ass.
It'd be more like an issue of 17 magazine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because Roman Polanski, he while he was even barred from coming over to the United States, he still won an Academy Award for The Pianist, which I think won Best Picture. Yeah, there's one with Adrian Brody. It was a Holocaust film.
No, it was called The Penis.
Yeah. And everybody's like, hey, see, here we go again. Now, the reason why I'm making so many 17 jokes and penis jokes about him is because now get this, back, I think like 30 years ago at Jack Nicholson's house.
Yeah, and
it was him and somebody
Angelica
else.
Houston.
And it was an Angelica Houston living at the same time.
Yeah.
Now, I think he was there with somebody else, and they were doing a model shoot with a 13-year-old girl. They drugged this girl and raped her and sodomized her, which means, they pretty much had anal sex on her while she was kind of inebriated.
Yeah.
And I think they had oral sex with her too.
Which I understand, people. Some of you are going, so that sounds like a great weekend. What's the problem?
Exactly.
But you'll understand when you get older and you can't go have sex with 13-year-olds anymore that's a really big deal.
Yeah,
Bad enough you drug and sodomize someone, but there adds this whole new level of threat to it that the federal government gets interested in when you yourself are over 18.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, when you turn 18, people don't think that
you cannot have sex with a 17-year-old.
No, when you were 17, when you were 17 and looking at that 13-year-old going like, I'm gonna tap that. You better before your birthday.
Yeah.
Because Roman Polanski will tell you that you better run. And if you run, you ain't coming back. And even then, years later, they probably gonna get your ass. This man is like 70-something years old.
I can't believe that this is okay. I'm not defending his actions. I would never defend his actions. I mean, that's just that's inarguably a terrible, terrible thing to do to anyone. However, with the shit that went on in this guy's past and stuff just immediately prior to that, like for instance, his wife being murdered by the Manson family and his unborn child ripped out of her womb.
Yeah, Sharon Tate was his wife, and they killed her and her unborn child. Yeah,
that would fuck up anybody. And then, as you said, I didn't even know his mother died in Auschwitz.
Auschwitz, man.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he's a Holocaust survivor. His mother died in Auschwitz, and he got by on donations most of his life.
Right.
And then he got into film, and I think he won a Best Foreign Picture film.
Yeah, I thought he won something for Repulsion, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't even know. I mean, you'd have to tell me. I was just reading up on the guy, and he won like Best Foreign Film when he was very young, and then got offered Rosemary's Baby. Right. I think like in 64 or 66, something like that. And then he went on to direct
which he immediately
Chinatown.
drugged and raped. Rosemary's Baby.
Rosemary's Baby. No! And then I think he didn't commit this crime until 1977, though.
Yeah, it was a little bit later.
Yeah, it was a little bit later. And so now you're thinking like the guy's been through a lot and maybe he was out of his mind. It's like, nah, man, that was a premeditated crime. I mean,
that wasn't a crime of passion. That was like,
he's up with this girl. He like planned it out so much that he drugged her and then he's, cause the whole time he's filming her, he's thinking, I'm gonna fuck that one way or another. Give me those pills.
I mean, the other argument is that it's been a really long time. I mean, isn't there a statute of limitations on these things? I don't know.
I don't know either.
Apparently not.
If you were to ask any feminist out there, they would be pissed and they would say, not for this. They're out for blood. They're like, fuck that. There's no statute of limitations. Even though the girl that he raped, and it is rape, the girl that he raped, she's even said it's long enough, let it go.
Yeah. No, I mean, some level it's like, wow, it's been that long. The other, she's probably just tired of people asking her about it, because why would you bring up an incredibly painful period of your life? Even so, it's like, the guy, from everything I've heard, he is a very much changed man now. He's not the same guy he was then.
He was even if you want to know what he looks like, kids, if you don't know who we're talking about, well, of course you can look him up on the internet, but you probably would be surprised to know that he was the French police captain in Rush Hour 3.
Oh, that's right. He was. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I remember looking at that and I was saying, I think I know this actor, but I can't remember his name. And it ended up being Roman Polanski.
That is an interesting point. The other interesting thing, kids, that you should remember is don't watch Rush Hour 3.
Yeah, don't rape 13-year-old girls and then don't watch Rush Hour 3.
Yeah, I'm not sure which is worse, but I'm not the judge. I'm not a priest. I'm not the one to judge the moral implications of such things. But no, I don't know how I feel about this, honestly. I mean, one can't help but go after a while, like, look, like I said, it's been so long. The victim forgives him, yada, yada. But even so, that is some harsh, fucked up shit to do. And, I think it's going to be one of the craziest trials to watch ever. Personally, I mean, just the witnesses alone of stuff he was doing then are mainly famous people. Mm-hmm. So, court TV has already got to be just salivating their asses off, going, "Okay, guys, strap in and get ready."
yeah, man. Let me tell you something. I'll just tell you how I feel about this and the way I think it's going to work out. It might be a media circus for a little while, only for a little while, and then he's going to get off.
Yeah.
That's not saying that I don't want him to. Do you want to know how I feel about it? It's been so long. Even this girl is coming out and saying that she doesn't think that this should continue. The guy's 76 years old now. He hasn't been in the country for years. And while I think it's wrong for him to have fled and he's out there living his life and because it had it been anybody else, they would have had to be online, registered as a sex offender. They would have got all kind of grief about it. But because this motherfucker is a world famous director and he's an artist, we're ready to turn our back on this shit. And I'm sorry. I know we make a lot of jokes, a lot of sex jokes and whatnot, but there's nothing funny about this shit, man. You raped a 13-year-old girl and he didn't really pay for it.
If there's a celebrity you want to make an example of, though, it's probably not like the 70-something-year-old film director. It was O.J. Simpson, and we missed our chance for that. So, I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of celebrities who get off scot-free all the time because ultimately, regardless of what the law says, it's always the jury's decision about what happens, and people go into that with celebrities with an automatic sort of like leaning towards the celebrity. I mean, you can't help it. We're raised, there are our aristocracy.
We have a bias. And I mean, if you look at not just OJ, because OJ is another guy I thought was guilty. And I thought like, well, with OJ, I tell you, it was his celebrity, but I think they would have had more of a closed case if they hadn't fucked that up with Ron. I forgot.
I forget his name.
I want to say Ron Howard. Fuck that case. Opie came in and fucked that case. But they had that Ron Livingston. Is that the cop who came in and was obviously racist, tampered with evidence.
Right.
So I was kind of like, wow, they fucked that case up right there. He's combined with his celebrity, he's gone. But we also had Robert Blake.
Yeah, who totally got sent to jail. But that's because the prosecution must have screwed up. Said, don't let anyone in the jury older than 30. And he wanted to remember anything he was in.
But he got off.
Did he finally get off?
Yeah, he finally got off.
I thought he got...
No, he finally got off against... And I think one of the things that helped out is that, okay, he's Robert Blake. No matter what, he's still Robert Blake. Everybody's going to remember him. Everybody who's old enough will remember him as Beretta.
Yeah, but that's anybody who's like older than 40.
People who are even older will remember him as... I forgot what his name... A character on The Little Rascals.
Oh God, that's right. He was in that. The only thing I really remember him from is from Lost Highway.
Lost Highway. Yeah, he was that creepy guy that would come in.
Well, he had that great. I mean, that's a mediocre David Lynch film, but he had that great moment where he's like, "I'm at your house right now. Go ahead and call me," and hands him the phone. And the guy calls, and sure enough, he's also at his house.
Oh,
It's like that was fucked up.
Yeah, shit. That movie probably made him want to go off and kill somebody.
He looks like Robert Smith is going to look like when he's 60. Or maybe Robert Smith is 60 now.
Now, yeah, that's why he wears all that makeup, so you can't tell what he looks like. And then there's also Phil Spector.
Yeah,
who got off? And Phil Spector is that famous music producer. With
the hair,
with that crazy. Phil Spector. You should look up this guy online. He worked with Tina Turner, and some other people. He guilty just by the way his hair looks. Yeah, this motherfucker looks like somebody who killed somebody. But you know what? He got off.
You're like, you're crazy. It's clearly something's wrong. But yeah,
Robert Blake.
Any celebrities ever actually gone to jail for anything other than Martha Stewart?
I know they sent Martha Stewart to jail for what? Like fucking up with her taxes, but murderers are getting off.
Yeah.
Maybe with rape it's a different thing because it got Gary Glitter.
Okay. Yeah, no one cares about Gary Glitter.
That's why Gary Glitter went sent to jail.
Only sports fans care, and they don't even know that they care.
And they don't even know who he is.
Yeah.
If you don't, I tell you, and it's a shame too, because if nerds and sports fans have one thing in common, and that's dun 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 dun. And the sports fans, they do that at the hey, yeah. And sports fans, they do that. They sing that song at sports functions.
Yeah, that's like one of
games.
The most long-lasting, famous, like let's get the crowd riled songs ever.
Yeah,
you know.
But the nerds have taken it and they've taken and made a Doctor Who song out of it. Doctor Who.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Hey,
I didn't know how you were tying it.
Doctor Who. Okay. Yes, all those nerds out there. See, Garrett Glitter could have brought the nerd and the jocks together.
He could have been the great joiner, the great man of peace.
Yeah,
the Gandhi for our time.
The Gandhi for our time, bringing nerds and jocks together. But he had to fuck up and fuck with little boys, and now he's in jail.
You know, as a Doctor Who fan, I'd like to point out that I don't particularly like or approve of that song.
And it's even weirder with Garrett Glitter because he had that song, "Do you wanna touch? Yeah, do you wanna touch? Yeah, do you
don't think I
wanna
know
touch
that song.
me? You know, do you wanna touch me there? Yeah,
no,
yeah.
You're freaking me out. Stop it. No,
Joan Jett did a remake of it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, what the fuck, man? I thought you were a music guy.
Yeah, but you're singing it. I can't.
I know.
Tell from that.
Do you want to touch? Yeah, it's not like a retarded person trying to sing this.
You know that song.
It's not like that guy trying to sing in church.
I thought you were doing Culture Club. Like, do you really want to touch me?
I got my top jaw hanging all out there. Oh, touch me there.
That's how Corey hears himself in his head. Do you really want to hurt me? How Corey actually sounds. Do you really want
He's not even singing words anymore.
That's like back when I used to take acid and I'd be like, oh my God, I've had the most profound thoughts. I'm going to write a book and it's going to save the world, and I write out all this shit. And then the next day you're like, what is all this about bananas? I don't even know what that means.
It's just banana after banana,
yeah.
banana.
Like, I could have sworn I had someone clearly stolen my notes and replaced it with this meaningless scrawl.
It's like when my friend Kevin was trying to say something to me. He was high and he was drunk, and he turned to me and had a look on his face. And in his mind, I know he was probably saying, "Corey, man, you are a dear friend. I love you so much. Thanks for being there for me." But the way it came out was, and then he walked off and threw up.
Too bad you weren't high too. You could have understood him.
I know. Yeah, I would have interpreted it.
Sit there for an hour going.
Yeah, him and I would have been looking at each other. But so, man, but back to this fool here, Roman Polanski. Yeah, I but here's what I'm thinking. I do think he should serve some time for this. But if they would have let him off, I would be like, it's been so long, man. I'm not even worried about it. What can I say? It's either way for me. It's like I'm a little less happy if he doesn't have to serve some sort of punishment for this. Something. Have his ass out there with Chris Brown picking up trash, you know,
on the side of the highway in an orange jumpsuit.
Because I tell you, man, picking up trash out on the highway. That's worse than death for some celebrities.
Yeah, that'd be worse than death for me. I'd be like, you know what? Screw it. Put me in the chair. Can't. Too expensive.
I remember when I got my first ticket when I was 16. My first speeding ticket, and I had to do community service for it.
Hardly the last.
Yeah, and way from the last. I was more than happy to pay for them after my first experience. They made me work at Goodwill.
What?
Yeah. They made me do community service at Goodwill. I had to go to Goodwill and just, I don't know, sweep and straighten out the stands. And
oh, crazy.
And the Goodwill that I was working in was on the bus route from the high school. So if I didn't time it right, going into the Goodwill, all the kids on the bus would have seen me like running. Now my friend Chris Earl, he told me, he said, man, I saw you the other day. You were standing in the alley, lean up against the wall, and then you look from side to side, and you made a dash into the Goodwill.
To make sure no one could see you and fail. Man, now I didn't know that about
Failed miserably.
I didn't know that they put a hardened cons into the Goodwill. Man, that's funny. I have a friend of mine who really likes this chick who works at the one near Half Price Books here in town. I'm going to tell him, hey man, I got an icebreaker for you. Just go up to her and say, so what'd you do?
Oh, yeah. Wait a minute, she works at the Half Price Books?
No, at the Goodwill.
Oh, at the Goodwill.
Yeah. You're like, hey,
man, I was about to say,
why are you working here? Type of thing. That must be it. She must have
Yeah, she's just some fucking hippie, and if she's a hippie, she's easy to open up with, you know?
That's true. Easy to open up, period. But
Yeah.
not sure if you want to, but that's, you know.
Yeah, man. I don't know if you ever had to shop at Goodwill when you were a kid. You know, kids
Sure.
I did. You know, kids make fun of you when they know you shopping at Goodwill.
Well, I was a bargain shopper even when I was a kid because, you know, I mean, my parents weren't broke, but they were judicious with giving me money.
Man.
And, you know, and I was too lazy to mow the lawn and shit if I didn't have to. So I'd just try and make that dollar stretch. And sure enough, it'd be like thrift stores, pawn shops, Goodwill, whatever. They sell books.
That's true. Shit, when I was coming up, you know, if you weren't fresh, you know, that blatant though, and I really don't want to make a race thing out of it, but it is true. Like if you don't, you know, if you don't have your gear all fresh and shit, you know, everybody like looks at you like, you know, what the fuck, man?
Oh, I didn't buy clothes there. What were you, some kind of loser?
Yeah, I was.
I wasn't gonna do that. I shopped at Target.
I ended up buying my own brother's clothes, which should have been handed down to me, and I tried to avoid. I had to buy that shit anyway. I could have had this for free, but.
Target is like Walmart, but for the more distinguished redneck.
Target got some good shit. But man, so Roman Polanski, if you go by looking at somebody like Gary Glitter, I mean, you know, I guess now if he was caught right off the bat doing this, yeah, you damn right he would have served some time.
Yeah.
I think rape and child molestation, especially these days, even if you're a celebrity, you're not getting off on that. I mean, that's it. But 30 years.
Well, you know, the one thing that sticks in my craw about this actually is that he wasn't trying to re-enter America or anything. Then I would have been like, yeah, prosecute him to the fullest extent of the law. He's already been punished and it has hurt his career not being able to work here. It's hurt his personal life and his career. No, they busted him in like Sweden or something like that. And I was like, well, that's kind of bullshit.
Yeah. Well, where was he? Because he was going to a film festival.
Yeah.
And they got him at the airport.
Yeah.
He was getting the Zurich Film Festival. He was going to get an honorary award there.
He sure got one.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Honoring your work and child rape.
Is the United States Police via the Switzerland law department, whatever the fuck. I don't know. Because it was a Swiss government that came there to intercept him. And now they're trying to figure out if they're going to extradite him to America. And if he comes to America, he's going to be held on trial. They're like, we waited too goddamn long for this. Shit, I mean, this has been like, they were just short of sending like Dog the Bounty Hunter after his ass. So it's, I'd love to see how this will work out. And like I said, either way it goes, I don't have any feelings about it anymore. It's so long.
It's going to be a media circus, but I bet you on some level, Polanski's people and the people who own the rights to his films are happy as shit because there's a lot of his films that probably get, you know, I mean, aren't widely seen anymore that all of a sudden are going to see a pretty sizable upswing in viewership.
Yeah. No, you wonder. I mean, it might just
it's all publicity stunt.
Yeah. Polanski like planned it out himself.
My God, that man is an evil
He's a
genius. He's the one keeping James Bond down.
This fool though, man, he's all he got to do is bring up I'm a Holocaust survivor. I mean, while this dude was known as a child rapist, he still won an Academy Award for what? A Holocaust movie.
Yeah.
You want a Holocaust movie? I mean, you want an Academy Award. Make a Holocaust movie.
Yeah.
Even if you rape a child, you will get an Academy Award.
That's true. They'll probably give him an Academy Award just at the trial for telling the story, you know?
Yeah, just for
They'll bring out the Viennese string choir and they'll like start playing like the violins and stuff while he's telling the story. Everybody will be crying.
One potato still in her hand. What can I say, man? I've never been. I have to say though, The Pianist. When I saw it, I love the movie, man. And it's really hard because I want to separate the work from the artist.
Wait, what does a movie have to do with a penis? Pianist.
What the fuck? You know what the hell I'm talking about,
But when you look at it that way, as he's saying it, it's really quite amusing.
It's the film version of that joke, 12-inch pianist.
Yeah, it is. Hey, babe.
12-inch pianist, the motion picture. Now, let's go ahead and get into some because you got to get to some movies. Let's go ahead and get into real quick some things that we saw at Fantastic Fest.
Yeah, sure. What do you want to talk about? You've seen less stuff than I have because, well, you've got more of a full-time job than I do here. So
it's been pretty full-time for you too, I think, especially with stuff like this going on.
Yeah, but you do the animating, and that takes a lot longer. So let's start with the stuff you've seen that you want to talk about. Let's go with you, and then I can reflect on such said films.
Okay,
and tell you whether or not you're full of shit.
Well, we saw a lot of the same things. Okay, so you heard us talk about what the festival is about. So our weekends consisted of a lot of fantasy and zombies.
Sure, which is never a bad thing.
Never a bad thing. I've saw 2 zombie movies here.
Oh, you saw 2. Okay.
Well, I saw Zombieland.
Yeah, we've already discussed and reviewed on the site Zombieland, correct?
Well, we haven't posted it yet.
Oh, okay.
But the review will be up next week.
Okay, fair enough.
But I'm just bringing this up because I saw Zombieland, the new zombie movie with Woody Harrelson. Mm-hmm. And what's that kid's name?
Jesse Eisenberg.
Eisenberg.
I was
going
to say Jocelyn Elders. I don't know how that popped in my head.
They're the same kid. Right now. Who's Jocelyn Elders?
She's like the Surgeon General, and she got fired for advocating masturbation.
Oh, she's Jesse Eisenberg would never masturbate.
Oh, are you kidding me? There's a guy whose right hand rarely leaves the vicinity of his groin.
Not anymore, man. He's in Zombieland now.
That's true.
He's getting the thrown at his ass.
I bet you he still didn't get a shot at Emma Stone, but still.
You never know.
I don't know, man. She's up and comer too, and odds are she's like, yeah, Jesse, I'm glad you're doing well. Now I'm going to go hang out with someone with a tan and muscles.
You know how like Jesse Eisenberg. I was at Comic-Con. You know how like rock stars and celebrities get panties and bras thrown at them?
Sure.
There were panties left on the ground. A girl just threw her ass. So a whole like bottomless chick just threw herself at a Jesse Eisenberg, ass hit him right in the face.
Put herself in a catapult.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
But I had seen, but saw that and then saw George Romero's Survival of the Dead.
That's right. I forgot you were at that. Yes.
And George Romero, who is a tall son of a bitch.
He is. Although it was hard to tell from where I was sitting. I was in those balcony seats, and he just
were you
looked
upstairs?
like a tiny man from where I was.
He's like an ant.
Yeah.
Wearing some glasses, but he is tall, and it was really cool to like hear him talk. Like this is my first time ever seeing George Romero come out in person.
Oh, that's right. You weren't there for Diary of the Dead. Okay.
No, I was not. And so to hear him come out, and this guy must be in his 70s also, but he's still very lively, still very excited and passionate about filmmaking.
Yeah.
Still very passionate about vampires, and has a very good sense of humor. I mean, I'm just like shit is blending today.
I know, I understand.
Zompires, but still very passionate about zombies.
Yeah.
And has more of a sense of humor than he ever has about the whole thing.
Although, to be fair, on some level, when he suddenly started doing zombie films again, and this was after something like 8 films of his went to direct-to-video and didn't do that well, it kind of felt more like, not so much like, like, oh, I just couldn't stand it anymore. I had to go back to zombies. They're my first love, as that's the only thing that makes any money.
Yeah. No, George Romero, zombies equals cash, no matter what.
Yeah.
But I have to say, man, George Romero is one of my heroes.
Yeah, I know.
Love the guy.
I mean, you are the zombie guy that I know.
Yeah, no, me and co-host, we love zombies, man. But I have to say, and it breaks my heart to say this, I was a little disappointed by Survival of the Dead after having seen Zombieland. Yeah, it's George Romero has again lightened up. I mean, he's getting funnier and funnier with his zombie films. They seem like comedies almost. But he's now, I think he's kind of running out of ideas to where he's kind of like making up different rules and making them up on the spot.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, you're absolutely right. And actually, the Zombieland effect, which is what I've been calling it lately, because there were a couple different zombie films playing the festival. The Zombieland effect is that even the other zombie films that were really good, there's one called Doghouse and one called The Revenant. Excellent, both of them excellent little horror comedies. Just next to Zombieland, which is one of the best movies I've seen this year, and certainly one of the best horror comedies ever. It's just, how do you even, how do you appreciate that? And Survival of the Dead, which was to me the weakest of the George Romero zombie films, was barely even worth a thought. I mean, you say it's funnier. I say it felt like a series of set pieces where they just tried to figure out new ways to kill zombies that made no sense.
But new ways to kill them. He even said himself, he's like, there's a couple of Looney Tunes moments in here. I'm like, why'd you say that?
Yeah.
I think I'm not looking at a George Romero zombie movie to see, Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck shoot each other.
No,
I'm not looking for Itchy and Scratchy here.
I mean, it's okay if he wants to do a horror comedy like that or something with those elements, but don't do it in the world you've already created that doesn't work that way.
And we've seen horror comedies be very clever. Shaun of the Dead and Zombieland. So you got a high standard to aim for there. You just can't like, oh, I'm gonna blow this zombie's head off and his scalp is gonna land on his jaw. It's
one of the things like it does stuff like that where you're like, look how we cleverly killed this zombie, and that was funny the way they did that, even though why would you even do that at all? That doesn't even seem like you would go to all that trouble. But I mean, there's things where like they shove a fire extinguisher hose in a zombie's mouth and it pops out his brain and his eyeballs.
Yeah.
Pretty sure wouldn't actually happen.
No.
But I'm not a physics major. We can try it out later.
I'm not a physics major or a zombie killer. So.
No, I would be if I had the opportunity, but
no, that would not work.
The dead have not actually come back to life, despite what some people may think. It's the real problem here with this movie is people's motivations. You watch horror films and you go, man, these people are so stupid, or wow, nobody would ever actually do that. This took that to all new levels of stupidity, and that's saying something for somebody who's been watching low budget horror movies at Fantastic Fest all week.
Yeah. I agree with you on that. People just do the dumbest thing in this movie. It's like
inexplicable
and
stuff.
The audience is laughing. They're like, because somebody is gradually walking towards a zombie, knowing that they're going to get bit, and everybody's like, don't do that. Okay, you dumb bitch. Of course. What did you think was going to happen?
It's okay for people to do dumb things in horror movies because they're dumb, but these